Ever feel like life's kind of throwing you a curveball? Like you're just navigating in the dark?
Oh, tell me about it.
Yeah, it's like everyone's searching for some kind of, I don't know, reassurance, a little glimmer of hope in all the chaos, you know?
Absolutely.
And you might be surprised to learn that some of the most powerful messages of comfort, they're not found in your typical self-help books or even those motivational speeches you hear.
Right.
They're actually tucked away in ancient texts, like the Book of Isaiah, for example.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and today we're taking a deep dive into Isaiah 40.1 through 5.
Okay.
And this passage, it really feels like it was written for times exactly like these, you know what I mean?
It really does. It's like, a warm embrace when you're caught in the middle of a storm. And to really grasp its power, I think we need to, take a step back in time, travel back to ancient Israel during a period known as the exile.
Okay, so set the scene for us. Who were these Israelites and what exactly led them to this point of exile?
Okay, so imagine this. Your homeland, the very place where your history, your faith, everything is rooted. It's ripped away.
Yes, completely gone.
Gone. That's what happened to the Israelites. They were conquered, their sacred city, Jerusalem, destroyed, and, well, they were forced to live in Babylon. And it wasn't just a change of address. It was like their whole world shattered.
So they're in exile, facing this just immense loss and uncertainty. That's got to take a toll on their hope, right? So where does Isaiah 40.1 to 5 fit into all of this?
So the book of Isaiah, up to this point, has been, well, pretty heavy, to be honest. It's a lot about the Israelites' rebellion against God and the consequences they were facing.
Makes sense.
But then chapter 40 hits, and it's like a sunrise, breaking through these dark, heavy clouds. The entire tone just shifts. Instead of judgment, there's this outpouring of comfort and hope, and it's almost unexpected.
Wow. So they're in exile, they're feeling lost and forgotten, and then suddenly, bam, this message of comfort appears. I can see why this passage would resonate so deeply, even today.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like you said, a light in the darkness.
And what's even more fascinating is that this message, it wasn't just words on a page. It was often sung, chanted even, which added this incredible depth and emotion to the experience of actually hearing it. It's no wonder parts of this passage were later incorporated into Handel's Messiah.
Wow. Talk about standing the test of time. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's unpack these verses a bit. There's a lot to uncover there. What's the first thing that jumps out at you in those opening lines?
The repetition. Right off the bat, you hear, comfort, comfort my people.
Mm.
It's almost like, God is emphasizing the urgency and the depth of his compassion. He's not offering a quick fix. It's this profound, soul-soothing comfort that he's promising.
Yeah, it's like he's, I don't know, leaning in, making sure they really hear him, feel the weight of that reassurance.
And it's not just about feeling better emotionally. There's a line that follows that says, speak tenderly to Jerusalem. And that speaks volumes. It suggests restoring your dignity, acknowledging their pain, and speaking to them with an incredible amount of love and understanding. It's incredibly tender.
It really is that idea, speaking tenderly to someone who's hurting. It's so powerful.
It really is.
Makes me think of what is it? Kintsugi, the Japanese art of,
Oh, right.
repairing broken pottery
Yeah.
with gold. They make the cracks part of the beauty.
Beautiful.
This
Yeah.
passage feels like that, like finding the beauty in the brokenness.
What a beautiful analogy. And speaking of beauty, let's talk about the second layer of comfort that's woven into this passage,
Mm-hmm.
which is the concept of atonement.
Okay, atonement.
Yeah, verse 2, it doesn't shy away from the Israelites' mistakes. It directly addresses their sin.
Right.
But here's where it gets really interesting. It says, her hard service has been completed, that her sin has been paid for.
It's like this weight has been lifted, you
Yeah.
know, that feeling of carrying around the burden of your past, of being defined by your mistakes. It's addressed head on and then released.
It's incredibly liberating. And the language used is really significant. It uses this imagery of a debt being paid.
Oh, interesting.
Double for all her sins. This wasn't about punishment. It was about an abundance of grace, almost tipping the scales in favor of mercy.
Wow. So we have this comfort, we have this release from the weight of the past, and then the passage shifts again, right? It's not just about feeling better internally, it's about something changing in the world around them too.
Absolutely. Verses 3 through 5, they get incredibly visual, almost cinematic, like we're watching a movie unfold.
I like that.
God is not just, offering words of comfort. He's rolling up his sleeves and getting involved.
Yeah.
We hear about preparing the way, making straight a highway in the wilderness. This isn't subtle. It's a full-blown divine intervention.
And it's not just any highway either, right? The passage uses some pretty dramatic imagery. Every valley shall be raised up, every mountain and hill made low, the rough ground shall become level, the rugged places a plain. This isn't a stroll through the park. This is a complete transformation of the landscape.
It's about removing obstacles, paving the way for something new and incredible to emerge. God is essentially saying, I'm not just watching you struggle from afar. I am actively clearing a path for your return, for your restoration.
It makes me think of the ancient Silk Road, that that massive network of trade routes that connected the East and West.
Wow, yeah.
Imagine being told that a road like that, it was being built just for you to guide you back home after years of exile. That's powerful.
It is.
Yeah, it's an amazing image, isn't it? A road being paved just for you, guiding you through all the uncertainty, and it makes this passage feel, I don't know, incredibly personal, even though it was addressed to the Israelites like centuries ago.
It speaks to the timeless nature of these words, don't you think? That longing for comfort, for forgiveness, for a sense that something is making a way for us when we can't see the path forward. It resonates just as deeply today.
It really does, and it makes me wonder, how do we apply this ancient wisdom to our own lives?
Yeah.
I mean, we're not facing exile in the same way, but we all experience those moments, right? Of feeling lost, overwhelmed, unsure of what lies ahead.
hmm I think this passage, it gives us like a framework for navigating those moments.
Okay, yeah.
First, it reminds us to actively seek comfort. Not just wait for it to find us, but to intentionally create space for it in our lives. Just like the Israelites, they yearned for relief from their exile.
So what does that look like practically? I mean, are we talking about, cozying up with a cup of tea and a good book, or is there more to it?
Well, it could be that simple, but on a deeper level, I think it's about incorporating practices that nourish our souls,
Hmm.
whether it's prayer, meditation, spending time in nature, or engaging in creative expression. Just finding those rituals that reconnect us to something larger than ourselves, that
Yeah.
remind us we're not alone in the wilderness.
And then there's that second layer we talked about, the forgiveness piece. We
Right.
we talked about the Israelites being freed from the weight of their past mistakes. How do we, as modern listeners, how do we tap into that same kind of liberation?
It starts with acknowledging those burdens we carry, those mistakes that replay in our minds, and then extending ourselves the same grace that's woven throughout this passage. It's not about condoning wrongdoings. It's about recognizing that we're not defined by them, that we're allowed to grow, to learn, to move forward.
It's like that moment when you realize you've been, I don't know, gripping something so tightly, and you finally allow yourself to just let go. There's this sense of lightness, of freedom.
Exactly. And it's in that space of lightness where we've embraced comfort and stepped into forgiveness, that the third layer, God's active presence, it becomes even more tangible. It's no longer just a concept. It's something we can experience.
We're not just passive recipients of comfort. We're active participants in our own restoration. It's like that imagery of preparing the way. It's an invitation to clear the path within ourselves, to create space for something new to emerge.
And to trust that even when we can't see the entire road ahead, even when it feels like we're wandering in the wilderness, God is actively involved in guiding us toward a brighter horizon.
This deep dive into Isaiah 40.1 to 5 it's given me so much to think about. It's a reminder that even amidst the chaos and uncertainty, there's a deep well of comfort and hope available to us. And it's not about, waiting for miracle. It's about actively participating in our own transformation.
Beautifully said. And as you go about your week, I invite you to reflect on this. What valleys in your own life need lifting? What mountains feel insurmountable? And then how can you participate in clearing a path for God's presence to work in and through you?
Until next time, keep exploring, keep seeking, and keep diving deep into the wisdom that surrounds us.